My faithful one, do you truly believe I would lead you through the wilderness for all these years, only to abandon you on the very threshold of your promise? Every mountain you climbed, every valley of shadow you navigated, and every hidden tear you shed has been a purposeful thread in the tapestry leading to this exquisite moment of transition. I am reaching out across the heavens right now to take your hand, intending to guide you into a season of wonder that your mind cannot yet fully comprehend. I have taken absolute, sovereign responsibility for your journey, and the destination I have painstakingly prepared for you will leave you in awe of my goodness. The very second you surrendered your life into my care, a sacred and immutable transaction took place in the unseen spiritual realm. What was yours became mine. Your unsolvable problems became my mysteries to unravel. Your exhausting battles became my wars to win. And the moment I take a matter into my divine hands, the outcome shifts from uncertain to inevitable. It is no longer a perhaps or a maybe. It is a decree. It is a guarantee backed by the very essence of my eternal character and my inability to fail. But I see the struggle that still lingers within you, and it breaks my heart every single time I watch it unfold. You come to me with your heavy burdens. You pray with such fervency. You surrender. You release the weight. And in that holy moment of letting go, you feel the lightness in your chest. You feel a peace that surpasses understanding. You sense my presence wrapping around you like a heavy, warm blanket on a cold night. But then, the sun rises the next morning, and the very first thought that pierces your mind is the same jagged worry you laid at my feet the night before. You start turning it over in your mind again, examining it from every terrifying angle, calculating 1,000 ways it could go wrong, and painting vivid mental pictures of the worst-case scenarios. And slowly, almost unconsciously, you reach back onto the altar where you left that burden, you pick it up, and you strap it back onto your tired shoulders. This is not the life I have designed for you. This exhausting cycle of surrendering and reclaiming, of trusting and then doubting, is draining the very life out of you. It is a thief that steals your peace, your joy, and your ability to simply rest in the shadow of my wings. And the most tragic part is that this labor is completely unnecessary because I have already spoken the final word over your situation. I have already promised you that everything is going to be well. I did not say it might be well if the stars align. I did not say it could be well if you meet a certain set of conditions. I said it is going to be well. Period. That is not a fragile hope or a fleeting wish. It is not a psychological trick to make you feel better temporarily. It is a blood-bought promise spoken over your life by the God who cannot lie, who never changes his mind, and who has a perfect record of keeping every word he has ever uttered. If I tell you that everything is going to be well, I need you to believe me with more than just your intellect. I don't want you to just acknowledge the theory that God is capable. I want you to believe me with your whole heart, with the deepest marrow of your being, with a faith that anchors into your soul and refuses to be moved, no matter how fiercely the winds of circumstance may blow. I need you to trust me with the pure, uncomplicated faith of a child who looks at their father and hears the words, "I will catch you, just jump." In that child's mind, there is no hesitation. There is no second-guessing the father's arm strength, or calculating the distance, or wondering if the father is distracted. The child simply leaps, fully convinced that the father's promise is as solid as the ground beneath their feet. Do you remember when you gave me your hand? It might have been in a quiet moment recently, or it might have been in a desperate cry years ago. But there was a defining moment when you reached out in your utter exhaustion, realizing you couldn't take one more step on your own, and you whispered, "God, I can't do this anymore. Help me." In that moment, you extended your hand toward heaven, and I took it. My grip on you is firm. It is unshakable. It is permanent. I am not holding your hand like a casual acquaintance during a brief greeting. I am holding your hand the way a protective father holds the hand of his small child while crossing a chaotic, busy street. My grip says, "I will not let anything touch you. I will not let you slip away. I will not let you fall." Now, I am asking you to stop resisting the pace I have set for our walk. Let me lead you toward the green pastures. Stop trying to sprint ahead of me because you feel like we aren't moving fast enough. Stop trying to yank your hand away because you think you've spotted a shortcut that I somehow missed. I know exactly where I am taking you, and I know the perfect path to get us there. I see which roads look smooth, but are actually riddled with hidden dangers, and I know which paths look steep, but lead to the greatest reward. I know where the lush green pastures are hidden. I know the exact location of the still waters where your soul can finally drink its fill. I know where the places of rest, abundance, and supernatural peace are located, and I am leading you there at this very second, with every single step you take in obedience. But you must let me set the rhythm. You must trust that my timing is perfect, even when it feels agonizingly slow to your human perspective. You have to believe that I am a master architect who knows what he is doing, even when the path doesn't make sense from where you are standing. From your limited vantage point, you cannot see what I see. You cannot see that the faster route you keep praying for has a devastating trap waiting for you just 3 miles down the road. You cannot see that the shortcut you are so tempted to take would actually add years of wandering to your journey, because it leads into a wilderness of confusion where you would surely get lost. You cannot see that the delay you are so frustrated with right now is actually a divine shield, protecting you from arriving at a destination before it is ready to sustain you. I see it all. I see the beginning, the middle, and the glorious end simultaneously. I see the traps, the detours, and the miracles waiting in the wings. I see the abundance and the restoration that has your name written on it. I am ensuring that you arrive at exactly the right moment, in exactly the right condition, surrounded by exactly the right people to receive the fullness of what I have prepared. So, I am asking you today, stop fighting the pace. Stop questioning every turn I make. Stop panicking every time the path seems to veer away from your desired destination. Just hold my hand and walk. That is all I require of you. I do not want a single thing to be lacking in your life, and that is not just a poetic sentiment to soothe your emotions. That is a promise rooted in my very character as Jehovah Jireh, your provider. I am the same God who sustained an entire nation with bread from the clouds for 40 years in a barren desert. I am the God who commanded water to gush from a dry rock when my children were parched. I am the God who took 5 meager loaves and 2 small fish and fed a multitude until there were 12 baskets of leftovers. I own the cattle on 1,000 hills, and the hidden riches of the world are held in my palm. I have resources and solutions that you haven't even begun to imagine. And remember, I am your Father. Everything I have is at your disposal. Every resource in my kingdom can be deployed on your behalf when you walk in my will. When I say I don't want you to lack anything, I mean it in the most expansive sense possible. I don't want you to lack provision, wisdom, or strength. I don't want you to lack peace, joy, or clarity. I want to surround you with relationships that breathe life into you instead of draining you. I want to open doors for you to use the unique gifts I have woven into your DNA. I want to give you the lion-like courage to step into the fullness of who I called you to be. I want you to live in true abundance, not the shallow, materialistic version the world worships, where success is measured by the pile of things you accumulate, but the kind of abundance that flows from a soul that is deeply satisfied, profoundly secure, and unshakably convinced of my love. My deepest desire is to saturate your soul with divine affection and holy tenderness. I know your soul is thirsty. I have watched you try to quench that thirst at so many broken cisterns. You've tried to fill the void with achievements, thinking that if you could just win enough or prove enough, the ache would stop. You've tried to fill it with people, hoping that if someone finally loved you perfectly, the loneliness would vanish. You've tried to drown it out with busyness and distractions, or numb it with temporary pleasures that only leave you feeling more hollow than before. But none of it worked, did it? That is because your soul was custom designed to be satisfied by me and me alone. There is a sacred space inside you that bears my signature, a place that only I can fill. I want to pour into you the purest form of love that exists, a love that is not based on your performance or your ability to meet expectations. This is not the fickle love of people who walk away when you disappoint them. This is not a self-serving love that keeps score. This is divine affection, a holy tenderness that sees every scar, every failure, and every secret weakness you try so hard to hide, and loves you not in spite of those things, but with a full, compassionate knowledge of them. I want to flood the basement of your soul with this love until you are so secure in my heart that you finally stop searching for validation in the eyes of others. I want you to know, in the very core of your being, that you are cherished beyond measure. I want this truth to become the lens through which you see yourself, changing the way you carry yourself and the way you respond to the world's rejection. When you are rooted in my love, the criticisms of man lose their power to destroy you. They may still sting, but they no longer define you. They no longer have the final say over your identity. I am telling you now, do not fear the bad things that might come. I know your mind drifts there often. I know you wake up and within minutes, your imagination has already scripted a dozen different tragedies. What if I lose my job? What if the relationship fails? What if it's too late for me? Your mind can create 1,000 disasters before you've even had your first cup of coffee, and each one of those imagined horrors triggers a real fear response in your body. Your heart races, your stomach knots, and your breath grows shallow, all because of something that hasn't happened and likely never will. This is the cruelty of fear. It yanks you out of the present moment where you are actually safe and where I am actually with you, and it drags you into a fictional future filled with shadows. It demands that you solve problems today that don't even exist yet. It robs you of your rest and blinds you to the blessings sitting right in front of you. Do not fear. Not because life is perfect, but because you will never face a single moment alone. You will never have to summon the strength to survive on your own. I will be right there in the center of the storm with you, providing exactly what you need at the exact second you need it. And my presence in the fire changes the very nature of the heat. You are going to stand firm. That isn't a suggestion, it is a promise. When the ground beneath you feels like shifting sand, when the world around you is shaking, you will not be moved. Not because you are superhumanly strong or because you have it all figured out, but because I am the one holding you up. My strength is the scaffolding for your life. My power is the current flowing through your veins. As long as I am holding you, you cannot fall. I will be closer than your own breath, more present than the air in your lungs. I will be there in the fire, walking with you through the valley, fighting for you when you are too tired to lift your sword. I will be the voice of peace when the world gets too loud, and the light on the path when the darkness feels like it's closing in. I am never going to let you go. I know you have been let go before. I know people you trusted with your heart eventually walked away. I know the sting of being abandoned by those who promised to stay. Those experiences left deep wounds and a nagging belief that everyone eventually leaves, that you are too much or not enough to keep someone around when things get messy. You have carried that fear into your relationship with me, waiting for the moment I get tired of your struggles and walk away. But I am not like the people who hurt you. I do not operate by human limitations. I do not have a breaking point. There is absolutely nothing you could do that would make me stop loving you. There is no version of you, not even the most broken, failing version, that would make me regret choosing you or cause me to release my grip on your hand. I am committed to you for the long haul. I am here for the easy seasons, but I am even more present in the messy ones. The seasons where you're barely holding on, where you're making mistakes and questioning my voice. I will not leave you. I will not abandon you. I will not give up on you. That is my oath, and I am incapable of breaking it. You can test it, you can push against it, you can do your worst, and you will find that my grace has no bottom, and my mercy is brand new every single morning. I know you have been feeling weak lately, and that is exactly why I am speaking to your heart in this very moment. You didn't stumble upon these words by accident. You didn't just happen to listen to this on a whim. I orchestrated this. I arranged this divine appointment because I knew you were at the end of your strength. I knew you were on the verge of throwing in the towel. I knew the voices of discouragement were starting to drown out my whispers of hope. I could not let you take another step into that spiral without interrupting it with the truth. It is okay that you are weak right now. I am not saying that to shame you. I am saying it because I see you. I see how hard you've been trying to keep up appearances. I see the effort it takes just to get out of bed. I see you forcing a smile when your soul wants to scream. I see you pushing through on sheer willpower because you feel like you don't have the luxury of falling apart. And it is exhausting you. I am telling you to stop, right now. Stop trying to be strong when your reservoir is empty. Stop trying to figure it all out while your head is spinning. Just sit down here with me. You don't need to have the answers today. You don't need to fix what is broken this afternoon. You just need to be in my presence and let me be strong for you. This is not weakness. It is the highest form of wisdom. The world claims that needing help is a flaw, but that is a lie designed to keep you isolated. The truth is that coming to me with empty hands is the most courageous thing you can do. Because when you finally stop trying to manage your life in your own limited power, you finally gain access to the unlimited power of heaven. Clarity will come. Peace will settle like soft snow over your soul, and you will realize that you are not behind schedule. You are not stuck. You are being positioned. I am preparing you, healing you, and strengthening your foundation so that you can carry the weight of the blessing I am about to release. I have been with you through every heartbreak and every betrayal, and I am still here. I did not bring you this far to abandon you now. I am bringing you through this, and you are going to emerge into a beauty you never thought possible. Just hold my hand. You are operating as a master-level professional editor and literary translator, specialized in the subtle nuances of American English. You have reached the second and final installment of this two-part series, a crucial juncture where the narrative must be brought to its ultimate, most resonant conclusion. Your objective is to take the provided text and elevate it, moving far beyond a literal interpretation to weave a rich, atmospheric tapestry of words. You are expected to enhance the prose by at least 30%, meticulously adding sensory details, psychological depth, and evocative context that anchors the reader in the scene. Every sentence should be crafted with creative maximum in mind, ensuring a distinct and sophisticated departure from the original while preserving the essential soul of the story. This concluding segment marks the final step in our journey, the definitive end of a two-part odyssey. We must ensure that every thread is tied and every emotion is amplified to its peak. In this final phase, your creative instincts are given full rein. You are not merely transcribing, you are reimagining the text to meet the high standards of a seasoned storyteller. By expanding the descriptions and deepening the character beats, you will transform the passage into a cinematic experience. The goal is to provide a translation that feels both expansive and deeply immersive, adhering strictly to a plain text format without the use of bolding, headers, or any other stylistic distractions. This is the moment to push the boundaries of the narrative, ensuring that Part 2 serves as a powerful and unforgettable finale to the work at hand.